right, so we are back with video 6 in our series. This particular video is going to focus on taking all of the walls that we have been working on and assembling them in a way that they fit together on our floor. So let's take off all these weights that have been on for a few hours here. Okay, we need to wait at least an hour for everything to dry. I gave it closer to 2 hours. Move all these pieces. Make sure this isn't a little stuck. There we go. Yeah, not too bad. That tape really did a good job with the wiping off of the glue. So we've now got all 3 walls. Move this out of the way. And we can stand these up. This looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. Perfect. Okay, so our foundation, you guys will find that when you first get it, the edges, you zoom in on this a little bit, okay, the edges are going to be a little bit rough, and they're going to be a little bit sharp, okay, and so what you want to do is make sure that there's no splinters. Again, we're going to go back to our sandpaper in our hitchhiker thumb position here, okay? And then we're just going to take and pull away from the edge all the way around, okay? Slightly taking off the edge. You're going to want to hit the edge here just slightly, enough to get the splinters off of it so that you can work with it. Pull away from the edge. Pull away from the edge. And we're going to do the whole thing until, I've got one that's finished here, until like we have it like this. So this edge, this still looks a little funky, but I can run my finger along this with no splinters. It feels smooth. This edge is slightly rounded over, ever so slightly, okay? And this is good enough. I know this has got a lot of texture to it. That's fine. It's a rough CDX plywood. It's not going to be perfect. We just don't want to get splinters while we're working with it. This should be 4x12. So I'm going to decide which one I want to have as my face. I'm going to have this as the top. I'll leave this as the bottom. And let's go ahead and pull this camera back up here. We're going to pull this into perspective. So if we had an actual floor, let's see, I'm going to actually just bring this dust over here. Okay, I'm going to set this wall aside for a moment. If this was the actual foundation of our house, as Larry Hahn would do, the first thing that you would do is you would measure over the thickness of the wall stud, and you'd chalk a line all the way across so that you can verify your wall, if it goes on here, isn't bent. You don't want your wall to go on here and be bent, this way. Like, you wouldn't want it to be sitting like this or like this. You want it to be nice and straight. And so you can do that by verifying the line. So you want to verify that the thickness is even to this outside edge all the way across. That's actually really nice. So that's good that way. And what I'll do, since this is a nice straight piece that I can trace, is I'm going to go ahead and trace a line here, just so I can verify with that line everything's where I want it to be. Okay. Pull that one across there. And pull this one this way. So in general, this is how you want your project to be. So this first wall, if you pay attention to it, the flat end of this corner is on this side, right? So we want this to be facing the back walls. That's really important. And I've got a couple of spots here, a little extra glue that just need a real light little bit of sanding to clean them up. So I'm going to do that now before we move on any further. Let me just I'm going to pull this way. That way I don't pull that plate off. Pull towards the stud with the sandpaper. Okay, and we got this one little spot down here. Okay, so how's that looking? I got actually one little spot left in the corner that I didn't see. Just want to scrape all that extra glue off of there so it won't be in the way. And now if I set this here, we should be able to glue this wall so that the small stud is towards the big wall here, like this. And then I'm just going to put a big clamp on this to temporarily hold it while I check the other side. Okay, and then this side's going to get the same thing where the little side faces the wall. What I would like to do though is I want to make sure all of my marks face the outside of the building, just so that it's going to be easier to see and grade later and to show people that that's how we did it. So I'm fortunate, I'm lucky I got 2 clamps. You guys, I know only have 1 clamp to do this, so you'll have to do it one at a time. I'm just speeding this up a little bit because the video is limited in how long we can make it. So change this one around so these little X's are all facing the outside. Okay, and I can see how this is all going to be good. The issue we might have if this is clamped is that this little edge here wants to pop out just a little bit. So I'll need to put a little heavy weight up against that. But other than that, it looks like everything's just fine. So let's go ahead and glue these into place. So these are done. Okay. I'm going to start by getting a little bit of glue out of this bottle here. I need to get my towel wet. I forgot to get my towel ready. And then this is protruding just a little bit, this bump here. That needs to be fixed first. So I'm going to have to very, very carefully see if I can do this without damaging the wall. Let's see if I can. Sand that down to flat without hurting anything. Okay, yeah, that looks better. So this one's going to be good to go now. A little bead of glue there. Oh no, I just popped out my header. Bummer. It's okay, we'll glue it back in. So I'm going to set this on the side with a little clamp at the top. A little clamp at the bottom. I don't know. Let's see if the clamp I gave you guys. Yeah, both clamps that I gave you will work for this. And then I'm going to use this clamp down here at the bottom in just a minute. So we'll glue this back in just a minute. What I do want to do is get a little bit more glue. You guys are probably going to have to do the second wall after the first wall is dry, but I've got an extra clamp, so I'm going to do them both right now. We're going to just move this glue around a little bit. Make sure that whole area is coated. Okay, and then I need to lay this down I need to put some glue along the ground here. Just gonna squish this around so that I can cover that whole little area nice and evenly. Okay. Now I'll set this in place. Push down on that pretty firmly. And I'm going to hang this over the edge of my bench just a little bit so that I can get a clamp on it. Maybe not. It doesn't quite like having the clamp there. So instead, I'm going to need something to hold that in place. I'm going to use a piece of tape. Okay. I think this will work for me. So rub this down really good on this side, make sure it's really stuck. I'm going to pull it over the edge. It didn't really pull tight, did it? That's not doing anything. Pull that tight. Okay. And then on this side, do the same thing. I'm gonna pull. I'll do this back here where you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Just pulling this tape from the top tight to the ground here, and pulling down on it a little bit as I stretched around and stick it. So then I can actually do the same thing for these walls up here. What I can do is squish this together. I can do this with a clamp too, but I know we don't have many clamps. So I'm going to squeeze this. Oh yeah, I got a lot of glue coming out. That's a good sign. I got the tape on there. Probably put a little bit more tape, maybe another thing down here. Make sure that tape's on there nice and secure. And then probably add a little bit of tape down at the base of this one just to be safe. So I know it's not going to come off. It's going to stay where I want it till it dries. Alright. So all that looks great. The only thing I need to do is put my poor header. I need to put this header back where it belongs. Oh shoot, I lost my little cripple as well. So that's going to have to be glued back in there. Apparently that didn't get enough glue. There's a little something on there now that... There we go. Make sure it's on there good this time. And this will cripple back in. Glue top and bottom. Make sure the surfaces get properly coated. Okay. So again, I'm going to double check everything is where I need it to be before we walk away. I really want this header to be a little tighter. So what I'm going to do, I can't really get a rubber band or clamp around it, unfortunately, but I can get a big piece of tape. So I'm going to tape this up. Up direction. So pulling this down, just kind of holding it up. That little cripple piece gets a good bond in there while it dries. Yeah, that's going to be much better. And just a little bit of play. Okay, so you can kind of see I got it taped in there. We got everything all situated and set up. That's got to dry now. And when this is totally dry, then we can come back and start doing all of our roofing pieces. So, in fact, I would suggest that you might want to start cutting out, while this is drying, your roofing pieces. But I'll start that in the next video.